This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friends, good morning. So in this business program, this is our first session on Edu Data Factory. So in this session, we are going to see Edu Data Factory in factory, why we need this section. Before we do Edu Data Factory, what exactly we are going to do with Edu Data Factory, and before we understand all these things, we need to understand some prerequisites. What are those? So those are like, what is big data, how we are getting that big data. Okay, so all those things are important. Let's see what is the agenda for today. So for agenda for today is we will learn what is big data, different domains which generates big data. Okay, so we understood data. We know data means if you're typing anything in your notepad, or if you have installed SQL Server or SQL Server in your local system, and you create a table and entered some data into that table, this is all data. But big data means you are going to deal with a like millions and billions of the records, not a few records, not a few lines of data. It's a huge data. That's why it is called a big data. But we will discuss again. So we are going to discuss what is big data, different domains which generates big data, how you are getting this kind of data, what are the different sources available. Okay, which sources are generating this data, we are going to understand. And then we will see real-time use case with financial. So in financial domain, once we get a big data, what these people are doing, how these people are processing this data. Next, real-time use case with retail. So I hope everybody know finance domain. Finance means all banking. Okay, banking, or you can say debt management companies. So all these companies are the financial companies. So these companies, how they are using this big data, we are going to understand. Next, retail. If you look at your Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, whatever, okay, all these are the retail websites, right? So how these retail companies are processing this data, okay, we are going to understand. Next, travel. Travel means, suppose you go to make my trip, or any website to book a flight or train or bus, whatever. So how these people are going to use this data? So once you book a flight ticket, so that particular record will go and sit in their database. But exactly how this big data they are using for their business, we are going to understand. Next, healthcare. Let's say healthcare means now COVID-19. So we know every day they are updating the number of cases, the number of deaths, and in which country how many people are impacting per day or per month, whether the graph is coming down or going up. So all these details we are getting. In the same way, healthcare domain, how this big data they are going to use in healthcare domain, we are going to understand. These are the four different real-time use cases. So if you look at these four real-time use cases, you can able to imagine for the other domains. Okay, next we will understand what is Edu Data Factory now. Then why Edu Data Factory? Okay, we understood what is Edu Data Factory. Then we are going to understand why this data factory. Then we are going to understand Edu Data Factory to data flow architecture, how data is going to flow in this Edu Data Factory, we are going to understand. Okay, so I did not discuss anything in this particular slide, so I am not going to take any questions. So I will just explain in this session. Okay, in this slide we will see what is big data. So anybody know what is big data? Please respond, friends. Anybody have any idea what is big data? Please answer, friends. You can unmute yourself and speak out if anybody know. If you don't know, ping in chat window. You don't know, something like that. I see nobody is responding. I hope nobody knows what is big data. So we know data. Data is nothing but if you like example, what happens when you go to purchase any items in a market, you will note down. So that is also data only, but it's a small data. Big data means you will have a huge amount of data. So now your goal is to understand from this huge amount of data which data is important for your business. You need to systematically analyze the data. You have to extract whatever data is required. Only that particular data you need to extract from the huge data. Okay, example, you have some 1,000 paragraph. Okay, so in a exam they asked what is data factory. You need to search for that particular line in 1,000 paragraphs. Where is the answer for what is data factory. So you need to search for that particular answer, meaning you are extracting the data whatever you need. Once you extracted the data, you are going to analyze the data whether this answer is correct or not. So whatever knowledge you have, with that knowledge you are going to analyze, you are going to enhance the answer, right? So in the same way, this big data is nothing but you are going to extract and analyze the big data or complex data sets. See, okay, so big data is a field that treats ways to analyze. You are going to analyze, systematically extract information from, so from where you are going to extract this information systematically is with a big data sets that are too complex, too large or complex. Okay, see, big data is a field that treats ways to analyze. You are going to analyze this big data. So before you analyze, what you need is you need to extract the data which you need. Okay, that's why systematically extract information from. Okay, from where? Okay, from data sets. Data sets is nothing but a data. As I said, 1,000 paragraphs we have. That 1,000 paragraph is called a data sets. This 1,000 paragraph is called a data set. Now this data set is called a too large data set or complex data set. So if we have huge amount of data, that is called a too large data set. Complex data set is nothing but a, you have a 1,000 paragraph, but it
Yes, we are not able to listen you.
hello, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So I don't know, suddenly my system got down. Okay. Sorry friends. Okay, let's see now. I think recording is continuing. Fine. Yeah. So big data is a field that treats ways to analyze. So we are going to analyze this data. So when you are going to analyze this data is once we extract this data from a too large or complex data set. So I have explained what is data set. So data set is nothing but data. Entire data is called your data set. Okay, so in that entire data set, you don't require entire data for your analysis. So you are going to extract the data which you need from that particular data set. Once you extracted the data from that data set, you are going to analyze that particular data. So what is meant by analyzing? Example, you have some report, you just extracted some report saying that, so last 100 years, okay, so in which years heavy rains happened. Okay, so you are going to analyze that particular report. When you are analyzing, you will come to know, okay, every even year, okay, meaning every alternative year we have a heavy rains. Maybe every, like you can say every 100 years we have some pandemic. So we know, right, everybody searched for that. So we understood that every 100 years we have some pandemic. So all these kind of things we are going to analyze. How we are going to analyze? Once we have the required data, once we extract the required information from entire data set, that is nothing but a too large or complex data set, that is nothing but a big data. So what are the different data you are going to extract for your business? So these are the different data you are going to extract. First thing is live data. Live data means when you look at a match, so if you look at any IPL match, so you are going to get a live data. So when you are getting live data, you will come to know what is happening currently. Okay, that is first thing. Let's take another example. Another example is we people are going to maintain some heartbeat and all those things. Okay, because you might not know what happens is, let's go to your ATM, right? So if the ATM is not responding, how bank people know? There are a lot of ATMs, but how bank people knows that this ATM is not working? Because there are some alerts. What these alerts will do, every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, those alerts will check whether this ATM is working or not. How it is going to check? Live. Okay, live, immediately it is going to check every 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Once it checks, it is going to send a like alerts. Okay, if it is working, it is not going to send. If it is not working, it is going to send a report saying that it's not working. So if you are focusing on the current data, that is nothing but a live data, you will come to know what is happening. Okay, example, as I said, if you are watching IPL match, you will come to know, okay, what is the current score, how many wickets they lost. Okay, so all that information you will come to know. In the same way, if you look at any device, so which device is not working currently, which device is working currently. Example, like we have some, what happens, weather reports we will get, right? What is that weather report? So current data they are going to analyze. So sometimes they will just forecast there is a cyclone next 2 to 3 days. So when they like identify there is a cyclone in next 2 to 3 days, they are going to focus how this cyclone is moving. So whether it is towards AP or whether it's towards South India, North India, something like that, they are going to completely focus on that particular cyclone signs, right? So how they are going to do? So with live data, immediately every minute they will extract data to understand how this cyclone is moving, in which direction it is moving. So to understand that is a live data. If you are focusing on live data, you will come to know what is not working currently. Historical data. Next I'm going to the historical data. Example, I want to analyze, so who is the best cricketer? So how you will analyze who is the best cricketer? So you need to see entire history. So in history, Sachin Tendulkar, how many matches he played, how many centuries he achieved, and how many 50s he achieved, right? So against this result, you need to compare the latest results. So meaning you are going to take a historical data, previous data, entire previous data you are taking, and with the current data, example, Kohli, also people are saying Kohli will reach Sachin Tendulkar scores and all those things. So you need to analyze. So what is the difference between these two people? And Kohli is now 100 matches he played. So at 100 matches, what is the score of Sachin Tendulkar? So you need to compare this data with your current data with historical data to understand what is going to happen. Okay, so whether it is possible that he is going to reach this score or not. Okay, meaning, so when he may reach, example, if you say, okay, he may reach, when he may reach, maybe next 50 minutes, sorry, if we play next 50 matches, Kohli may reach Sachin Tendulkar's score. So such type of things you can able to predict if you are going to analyze historical data. What you are going to predict here, you are going to understand what is working, okay, what has not been working. What it means is, previously, what is Sachin Tendulkar's score, and currently what is like Kohli score. You are going to compare these two scores to understand when Kohli is going to reach that particular point. Okay, so maybe if the Kohli is not doing like maybe next 10 matches, if he is not making if he is not achieving any century, then he may not reach Sachin Tendulkar. So something like that, you need to compare historical data with the current data to understand when something is not working, when something is not working, and when something is not working. Okay, I hope everybody understood, right? Historical data means to understand why it was not working previously and why it is working now. Okay, something like that you need to understand. Okay, next, analytical data. So analytical data is nothing but you are going to understand, okay, this particular item is not working. Example, let's say Sachin Tendulkar is not achieving any century in particular ground. So you are going to analyze, okay, why this is happening. Okay, so whether he is not able to play spin, so in that particular pitch, so it is supports that particular pitch supports mainly for spin. So that's why he is not able to play. So such type of analysis we need to do. That is nothing but the analytical data. Analytical data means you are going to understand what is the current status of your pitch, and so what is the current, like previously how this pitch was working. So you need to analyze all these details to understand why something is not working. Why something is not working. To understand that, we need to focus on a analytical data. Next, predictive data. Predictive data is nothing but, so you are going to analyze, okay, so last 3 matches Kohli is playing well, so next 4th match you are going to guess, okay, last 3 matches he is like achieving 100. So there are 3 centuries continuously. So in 4th match, so we are going to predict data with the past data. Okay, with the help of historical data, you are going to analyze your future. So you are going to tell whether Kohli is going to achieve 1 more 100 or not. So to do that, we need to have a predictive data. Predictive data means you are going to analyze. So machine learning, why you are using machine learning? Machine learning we are using to predict our future. So every business, see example, very simple. Now I am learning Azure course. So my aim is to survive in IT industry for next 10 years. So I don't want to learn new courses in next 10 years or 15 years. I want to continue like with very happy life in IT if I learn Azure. So that is my goal. So that kind of a future I want to see. So as a employee, as a person, you want to see your future. In the same way, as a business, they want to see their future. To see their future, they are going to analyze how their business is going to be in next 10 years. Okay, so they are going to analyze all this data with the help of machine learning. They are going to identify their future. So every year, let's say you are going to identify that with the help of mission, you are going to identify next year you will get a $200 profit, but actually you will get result. When you get actual result, you may get only $198 profit. Okay, so there is a $2 difference. So that's why they are going to understand, okay, so what is the mission predicted data and what is the actual data we got. So this difference we are going to compare, but we will compare to understand our business and to understand the mission accuracy. But ultimately mission is going to give you some statistics about your business future. Okay, data for change. Example, if you look at data for change means when a new mobile is introduced into a market, what happens is people will look for some more features. They will say, okay, camera is not good or something, right? So what you need to do is you need to change that particular feature. So when you change something, why you are changing something? To attract more customers. So this is the change data. Change data means In a mobile, you have some features. You are going to add a new features, or you are going to remove the existing features to attract the more customers. So that is the data for change. You want to change how something is going to work. Okay, so example, next, in Flipkart, people are going to deliver a item. Maybe they will say some 7 days or 10 days. People are not ready to wait until 1 week or 9 days because they want it immediately. So now you need to change the process. So if you change the process, in that process, you should be able to deliver the item in 1 or 2 days. Maybe you can take extra money. That is not a problem for the current generation. So they want to receive the item immediately. So such kind of data points you need to change. That particular flow you need to change so that customer will be happy. Okay. If you are new, it will be a little bit confusing, but you just let me know if you have any questions, friends. Anybody have any questions here? Please let me know. Any questions here? Okay, I see there is no questions. Okay, analytical data. So analytical data is nothing but you are going to analyze your business. Example, so if you understand like this, right? If you're not clear on something, I will give you more examples so that you can able to understand. Analytical data means, let's say you are like some product seller, right? So you are selling some product. So now you are going to understand. So maybe at some festivals, you will see lot of products will sell, and in other times, products are not going to sell. If you look at the laptop sales, right? Laptop and smartphone sales are increased too much in this pandemic. Why? You know the reason, right? So everything is online now. So all students are attending classes in online. So what they want is they need at least some smartphone or laptop. Some people are getting both, but some people at least maintaining smartphone or laptop. So you are going to analyze why the sales is increased suddenly. Okay, if the sales are not good, you need to understand why sales are not good now. Okay, example, now if you look at smartphones and laptops, in the sales is increased, but other item sales is decreased. Why? Because people are not at the hometown, so everybody reach to their natives at native, right? So they don't want to, like, they don't want to explore new things. Okay, they are going with the like minimal things. They are at home, so everybody is thinking, okay, once we go to city, we will order something else. That this they will think. But now what is happening is they are not purchasing the all items, so meaning other item sales are decreased and smartphones and laptop sales are increased now. Okay, so you are going to analyze these particular data points. You are going to understand. Okay, so if you look at August 1st day, how many sales? August 2nd day, how many sales? August 3rd, how many sales? So you are going to draw a graph saying that, so whether sales is increasing or decreasing. If it is decreasing, why it is decreasing? If it is increasing, why it is decreasing, why it is increasing, depends on what is happening. If it is increasing, you are going to think why it is increasing. If it is decreasing, you are going to see why it is decreasing. Okay, so why you are doing all this thing? To analyze your business. Okay, if the sales are going down, you need to offer some, you are going to put some more offers or something. Okay, so maybe you will attract people, says that, so 20% discount if you purchase on these days. So people will hurry, right? So they will think, okay, later if you want to purchase, it will be costly, let me purchase this immediately. They will purchase. Okay, so once you understand why this is not like why this particular sales is reduced, so once you understand that, you can able to take a decision to increase these sales. Okay, that is nothing but a analytical data. business currently. To understand that, you need to have a live data. Example, what happens, so some people will work in underground, right? They will go and extract some kind of items from the underground. So you need to continuously, you need to monitor the weather condition underground. So for that, what you need to do is you need to extract the live data. Okay, that is nothing but a live data. Historical data means to understand. Okay, example, now after this COVID-19, everybody is understanding, they are trying to understand. So this kind of pandemic happened previously. So when they researched with previous historical data, they understood that every 100 years it is happening. To understand this is happened, whatever happened currently, it is already happened in the past, or it is a new one. So to know few things, you are going with the historical data. Analytical data is nothing but a why this is happening, what is the root cause. Okay, example, COVID-19. So somebody ate something, and because of that it came. So previously, whether previous things also came because of something they ate and they got this infection, or something like that, you are going to analyze. So if you think this is happening every 100 years because of eating something non-veg, so people are going to avoid eating non-veg so that they will be healthier, right? So they are going to take a decision to analyze these things, why this is happening. We need to go with the analytical data, but analytical data is based on the historical data, because if we have a historical data, then only we can able to predict. Next, predictive data. Predictive data is nothing but you want to understand, so what is going to happen. Okay, so everybody is now, all government people are expecting the COVID-19 vaccine. Once the COVID-19 vaccine they received, they need to understand how much time it will take for them to distribute across the countries. Okay, so that kind of a prediction government is going to take care. In the same way, as I said, so we are going to understand, if I learn this course next 10 years, how is my future. So that is kind of a predictive data. With the help of previous historical data, you are going to understand your future. Example, you understand something like this. So there is a kid, you don't know anything, you are going to put something like, you are going to show apple to him, and you will say, hey kid, this is apple, hey kid, this is apple. You will train him with 100 apples. Now when you ask with 101, you are not going to tell this is apple, you are going to ask a kid, hey kid, what is this? So kid may tell this is apple. How? Because it learned from the historical data, and it is going to predict what is this. This is an apple, so it is able to predict. In the same way, so mission is going to learn all the things from the historical data. So from historical data, it will understand what is happened, everything, and in the future it can able to tell what is going to happen in the future. But this is not accurate. Okay, we have a different algorithms to get the accurate values, but if you do whatever you do, because whatever is happening and whatever you predicted, both may not be same. Some error will be there always. Okay, next, data for change. Data for change means, as I said, so you are going to change how something is going to work. Example, delivery. So if it is going to take 7 days, you need to avoid sending an item in 7 days. Instead of that, you need to send that item in 2 days. You may take extra money, that doesn't matter for the people now. Okay, but people want to receive that particular item immediately. That is nothing but a data for change. Any questions here? Paramesh, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mantri. Thank you.
Ramu, Murali, Chaitanya, Avinash. Everybody's clear? Okay, let me go on. So how big data is generated? So you see, big data is generated through the transactions. Transactions means when you purchase any item. So when you purchase an item, maybe you will purchase item from Flipkart or Amazon, Snapdeal, whatever, that is one transactions. So it will show it whenever you log in into your account. If you want to see your previous orders, you can see how much you have paid. If you want to see, you can see those all of the transactions data. So whenever you make a new like a new purchase, that is one transaction. That data will be available in your system. That's how you are going to get a data. So let's imagine, so there are crores of people in India. So if you compare worldwide, there are a lot of people. So they are going to make orders every minute. They are going to receive a lot of orders. So every order is a one record. So there is a huge amount of data they are going to receive. Okay, that's how you are going to get a big data. Second thing is, you have a scientific data. Example, for COVID-19 vaccine, people are going to research. So they are going to test it. Okay, how this virus is growing, and in which environment this is going to grow, and in which environment this is not going to grow. So all those things they want to identify. They have to research on that with different samples. Example, so right, if example I want to understand whether something is working or not, you need to test it with multiple things. Okay, so multiple test cases will be there. Based on the multiple test cases, you are going to understand. Example, when you are entering a password, so they will put some like some restrictions saying that one small character should be there, one capital character should be there, and one number, one special character. So if you are typing normal numbers, it will say invalid password. You don't know what is happening. So again, you will try. So what is happening is you are just researching which password it is going to yellow. So you are going to try with a different kind of a values. Okay, all these are the like kind of a research you are doing on this particular password. So what passwords it is allowing. Okay, so in the same way for COVID-19, as I said, they want to test, they want to find the vaccine. For finding vaccine, you need to understand the problem first. So for that, whatever data they have collected, that data also come under big data. So a lot of the data they are going to collect it from different researchers and all those things, from history, all those things. Okay, next we will have a sensor data. As I said just now, right? Every time people want to understand the weather conditions and all those things, we may use sensor data. Next, if you go to any shopping malls and all those things, right, those will like open and close automatically. That is also sensors. So sensors will identify one image. So we will treat it as a, humans will treat it as a image. So something is coming, some object is coming, immediately sensor, it will activate and it will open your door, right? So all this data, okay, so all this data it will collect, how many times it is identified object and all those things. Next, okay, you have a social media data. Example, if you post anything in your Facebook, so right, so a lot of people are going to use Facebook. If you have 1,000 people in your Facebook, if you open Facebook and check online, at least 50 people or 100 people will be there. And just imagine there are a lot of people in Facebook. So how many people are going to use every minute? How many people are going to post every minute? How many people are going to share the videos every minute? So there is a lot of data is going to share, and a lot of data will be uploaded into social media. So not only Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. So in WhatsApp, many people are going to chat, right? So all this data is going to be a big data. Next, we have something called enterprise data. Example, we have a big companies, manufacturing companies. They want to understand, so which parts are available, which parts are not available. Let's say flight manufacturing company, they want to understand flight engine, how many engines are available, how many engines delivered, how many engines order is available now. So all this data they want to understand. Okay, if you go within normal manufacturing, okay, example you can consider, or you can say laptop manufacturing or something like this. What happens is enterprise companies, big companies, they are going to share the data, okay, about their objects. That is nothing but a whatever devices they want, or some spare parts, whatever spare parts they want to manufacture. So that particular information they are going to note down, right? So all the data also will consider as a big data. Next, public data. Public data means if you go to any website, whenever new scheme released, if you look at Andhra Pradesh, so there will be a new scheme every quarter or every year. So that government, what they are going to do, that data they are going to publish in their website. So that will be visible to everybody. So in public, whomever want to see that particular data, everybody can able to see that data. Okay, not only this, so I am giving few examples, but you can consider a many more examples. So these are the some of the sources which generates your big data. Okay, any questions here? Any questions here? Okay, feel free to ask, friends, if you have any questions. Okay, fine, let me go here. Next slide. So domains, if you look at the domains, different see here, retail domain, meaning when you purchase any item, that purchase record will be available in your database. Travel domain, when you book a flight ticket or bus ticket, train ticket, that ticket details will be there in a database. healthcare. So when you go to hospital, they will take your age and your name. Okay, so your what is your problem? So all these going to be recorded details, right? So in healthcare also you will get a data, something like this. Next, financial. Suppose you are sending some amount or you are receiving some amount, so that is nothing but you are dealing with the financial. You are applying for loan and you are paying EMIs. So all these are going to be some records. So whenever you pay EMI, there will be a new entry in their database. Okay, media, social media. It can be like you see Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp. Okay, so anything. So whatever you chat and whatever you post, all these are the data which you are going to collect in the backend for processing. Okay, so these are the different domains you are getting the data in different domains. But not only this, we have a many more domains. Okay, any questions in this particular slide? Okay, let me move on. Okay, so as I said, so real-time use case with the financial domain. So before we go with real-time use case, we need to understand. So financial meaning banking. Banking means you are dealing with the money, right? So when you are dealing with money, you need to understand whether this money you can transfer this money in how many ways, friends. Nowadays people are using net banking. You can send over Google Pay, Phone Pay, all these applications you can use in a front end. Whenever I make it, whenever I send some money, okay, so now what happens is this particular entry, this particular information. So example, if you look at any transactions which are made, if you pay to anybody, it will tell, so this is your transaction ID, this is your payment ID. So some ID it is going to generate. Why? To identify that particular item, that particular record uniquely, they are going to generate a one ID. So example, if somebody says, so I did not receive the amount, you are going to say, so this is the ID. So with this ID I have paid. So they are going to look at that ID. They will come to know they received already that amount, right? So, but basically we have a lot of front-end applications. These front-end applications will, with the help of this front-end applications, we will transfer some amount. This transferred amount details will be stored in the back end. Okay. I hope. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So don't worry, friends, 1 or 2 minutes. So because so if I get calls, I will be able to flag mostly. Okay, that is okay. But you know these front-end applications. So everybody use this one of these front-end applications. So when you make a payment, this payment record where it will go, that you need to understand. That will be there in a on-premise. In on-premise depends on client. They may store the data in a SQL server. They may store data in any files, maybe ORC, Park and Avro, different file formats they may use, or they may use data directly in their data warehouse. But mostly if it is a transactional data, that data will not be available in a data warehouse directly. Okay, mostly your data will be there in a SQL server or in a different file formats. Okay, or it is a Oracle database or IBM database. In other databases it will be there, but this data may not be there in a data warehouse. So when you make any payment from web applications, that particular record will go and sit in your SQL server or any files. Okay, so one of this particular source you are going to use to store that particular data. Got it, friends? Now how we are going to get the data into on-premise. What is the on-premise? On-premise means I have my laptop at my place. This is called a on-premise is nothing but your home or your organization place or your office place. It can be anything, but that is own. That is your own. Maybe I have laptop at my home. So this is called a this laptop. This server is available at on-premise. You can call. Okay. Now what happens? Somebody is suppose if I'm typing something in my notepad, I can say this notepad data is available in on-premise server. On-premise server. Okay, now in on-premise we have a different, not only SQL server, you can have a data in your files. So we are going to see the data is available in the database, how to move it into cloud. If the data is available in terms of files, how to move into the cloud. If the data is available in on-premise data warehouse, how to move it into the cloud. Everything we will see, but ultimately with the help of front-end applications, we will get data into on-premise applications. Now, once I have data in on-premise application, it can be any source, any of these. Not only this, we have a many more on-premise application. Now, we will move this particular data into the cloud by using ADF. See, by using ADF, I am moving data into the cloud. In a cloud, you will have a different storage. As example, you have a data lake storage. This is an unlimited storage. You can store as much data as you have. Okay, unlimited data you can able to store. Next, Azure Blob Storage, it's a limited storage, it's object storage. Okay, you'll have some limitations here. So still you can move your data into blob storage if you want to store some configuration files or you want to store data temporarily, then you can use blob storage. Next we have something like data lake storage Gen 2. You have a databases, data Azure Synopsys. So you have a different like sources here. Okay, different services available in the cloud. So you can move your data from on-premise into cloud. In cloud, you can move it into any of these. From on-premise, you can fetch data from any of these. So ADF can connect to the 80 plus, approximately 100 different services. Okay, it can connect to the SQL server, on-premise SQL server. It can connect to the file system, REST API, many things it can able to connect and fetch the data. So we're going to see all those things. So once we fetch data from on-premise, we will load it into the cloud. In the cloud, we have different storages. We will load this data into different storages by using Azure Data Factory. Okay, how to do that? We are going to see. But high level, you try to understand. Ultimately, we need to move data from on-premise to the cloud. In a cloud, we may move data from SQL Server to blob storage, SQL Server to data lake storage, Gen 2, SQL Server to data lake storage, Gen 1. So depends on client, depends on your architect. They will choose one storage. Okay, so but we will see how to move data into all these different storages. Okay, next, if you have data in on-premise data warehouse, that data you can directly move it into the Azure Synopsys Analytics. That is nothing but a Azure data warehouse which is available in the cloud. That is called a Azure Synopsys. So there you can able to move the data by using Azure Data Factory. Now you have all this data available in some storage now. So can you tell me whether we modified anything in data, whatever data we received from web applications, or we copied exactly same? Remember, we copied exactly same data into these storages. Whatever transactions you made here, that transaction information stored in on-premise. From on-premise, you moved into the cloud. Same data you moved into the cloud by using Azure Data Factory. Now, once the data is available in these storages, now you need to process this data. You need to transform this data. Example, some of the transformations, let me explain you. Example, I want to understand how much money is crediting into his account every month, how much money is spending every month. So once I analyze these things, I can able to provide some kind of a loan. I can able to provide some kind of a loan. Example, if you look at our home phone, right? So if you are in the home, so you are not going to get a calls to your home saying that we are ready to provide a loan for you. But if you are an employee, they will call to you and they are going to tell you, so we are ready to provide loan. Why? Because they in back end they will understand that. So there is some fixed amount is crediting into your account and deposit, like you are spending some amount from that account, and ultimately you are going to get some amount into this particular account. So they understand that so you are a good customer from the data that they are receiving into your account. So they understood that there is a fixed amount is received by your account every month. So based on those things, what they are going to do is so they are going to call you and they will tell you, okay, we are ready to provide loan. But so to analyze all those things, we need to read this data which is there in a data lake storage or whatever storage here. So process the data, transform the data. Processing or transforming means you're going to understand whether this customer is good customer or not. So once we analyze the data, that resultant data, you can store it in a same data lake storage, or you can store it in a Azure Synapse, wherever you want to store, you can store. Okay. So now let's say blob storage and data lake storage. And not only Databricks, we have a different processing services, right? So analytical services. Okay. Azure HD inside we have Azure Data Lake Analytics we have. So we are going to cover everything. But ultimately the popular service is Databricks. Now the popular service is Databricks. So we will spend more time on Databricks. Okay. So once we have processed data by using HD Insight, this data also may store it in a blob storage, may store it in a Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay. This data may store it in a Azure Synapse Analytics. Now, once data is available in Azure Synapse, you can connect to the Power BI for creating your reports. Reports means some graph. So reading like you want to understand your business from data, it will be difficult. If you see the visuals, so you can able to understand clearly. Okay, so the graph is going up. Okay, meaning your business is good. So graph is going up. If the graph is down, so you understand that your business has some problem. Okay, so likewise we'll have. Now you see data lake is your processing data which is there in a data lake by using Databricks. Not only that, you can do something like this, meaning you can able to even process the data which is there in a blob storage. Even you can process the data which is there in a data lake storage Gen2 by using Databricks. Databricks can connect to all of these to process the data. In the same way, HD Insight also can able to process data from all these sources. Finally, once you process this data, you're going to put it here. But this is financial domain. In financial domain, see, if you take any domain, doesn't matter, only changes your web application, your front-end applications are going to change. Here you are going to use these applications, but flow is going to be same for all the projects, all domains. So everybody's clear on this particular flow, friends, because this is very, very important. If you understand this, then only you can able to understand the remaining things.
Why we use Power BI here?
Power BI for creating the reports. Example, let me show you a few things. Okay, you want to understand here. You see COVID-19. Just to enter COVID-19. Example, I will show you. See, just click on.
Yeah, understand. So finally, get the details of the data. We will use the Power BI for reporting, right?
Reporting. So other people may have same question, right? That's why I want to be clear.
Okay.
See here, recoveries. So total cases. So every information you have. So if you see these things, it is not a good, right? So see active cases, these things. But you don't know whether the active cases number is going down or increasing. To see that, just click on show graph. See, so from this graph, you can able to understand this graph is keep on increasing, but it's not decreasing. The active cases are still increasing. In the same way, closed cases, just to click on show graph. See here, there are two graphs, right? So what is the meaning of these two graphs? You want to say show statistics. See here, recovery rate is top. Here is the death rate. So death rate is keep on coming down and the recovery rate is keep on increasing. But if you look at this data, it is difficult to understand from this whether the graph is increasing or decreasing. So here, if you come to daily new cases, see this is bar graph. So in this bar graph, you can see this is keep on increasing this number. So daily deaths. So sometimes decreasing, sometimes increasing some days. So this kind of report you have, you can able to understand your business very easily. Okay. So in last 1 year, how is your business, and last 1 month, how is your business? You can able to understand this. Okay, clear. I think Parmesh, somebody asked.
Hi, Malaya.
Yeah, tell me, Shiva.
what is the difference between Azure Synapse and data warehousing, Azure data warehousing?
Azure Data Warehouse, they have enhanced and they renamed it as the Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, in Azure Synapse Analytics, whatever you are doing here, Databricks, HD Insight, storing data, all these things, right? You don't require all these things. Azure Data Factory, Databricks, all these things you don't require. In Azure Synapse Analytics, everything you can able to do in Azure Synapse itself. This one service can do Databricks job, ADF job, everything you can able to do it in Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, so that is the kind of power they have given to this particular service. Okay, Azure Synapse Analytics is nothing but everything you can able to do it in it. Okay, now data warehouse they rename it to Azure Synapse Analytics. This is the only service. I will show you when I open a portal. In portal, if you open it will say Azure Synapse Analytics, formerly known as Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Clear, Shiva? So that is previously known as Data Warehouse. Now they rename it to Azure Synapse.
And one more question, what is the public network and private network on premises?
Public network means, see, public network means it's a entire world. So example, you can say you have one number. Okay, same number will not be available for the rest of the people in a country. Rest of the people, that number will not be available, because in this entire public network, you want to identify you as a unique. We have a public network. Okay, private network means within an organization, you have your organization. Within an organization, you are going to set up. So meaning within your organization, people should not have a same number. Okay, but outside people can have a same number because they are totally outside. It's a public. They have their own private. But private means it's associated with a particular company. Okay, that is
and yeah, on
it,
premises public or private on premises data?
on-premise data is it's private. Okay, that's why we need to install something called self-hosted integration runtime to get to move this data into cloud.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
So that extra part we need to do when we are moving data in from on-premise to cloud. Any other questions here? Any questions? Any other questions?
So here the ADF does the work of extraction, and Databricks, HD Insight, or Azure Synapse Analytics Service. These all perform transformations. Correct?
So if you want to do all these things in Azure Synapse Analytics, that you can do it. But people are not familiar of using Azure Synapse for all these things. Okay, because this particular Azure Synapse came in last 1 year, I think 1 year back it came, and people are not ready to use this particular service because it's new and still it is in a preview. Preview means it's not recommended for your production loads. It is recommended only for your development, to test it, to understand this particular service. It is introduced, but this is not introduced for your production loads. Okay, once that preview mode is removed, then that is ready for your production. Okay, so some people may not be able to understand these words. Don't worry if you're not able to understand. Okay, whoever is working in real time, they can able to understand these things. Okay, next thing. So you are saying Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory will extract data, load data, and this Azure Data Factory will call this Databricks code. In Databricks, you will write a code. That code will be called by your Azure Data Factory. Okay, Azure Data Factory is going to do ETL job, extract, transformation, and load. Here, ADF is, you see here, it's not doing transformation, right? It's extracting, loading data. But transformations, ADF is not doing. So ADF will call the transformation script, which is there in a Databricks. From ADF, you can integrate with the Databricks to call the Databricks notebook. Okay, clear, Parmesh?
Yeah, got it. Clear.
So once you understand, tell me.
Yeah, yes, what is the advantage and benefits ADF compared to other ETL tools like Informatica, ODI, SSA?
This is in cloud. This is in cloud. Okay, cloud, there are a lot of advantages with cloud, right? So so I will explain you those things, but there are a lot of advantages with cloud. Example, I have my laptop at my home. So how many things I need to take in care? I need to take in care of internet. I need to take in care of continuous power supply. I need to take in care of security. I need to take in care of cooling system, because system will get heat immediately if you don't have a proper cooling system. So all these things I am taking care. Instead of that, if I have my laptop at some cloud data center, if they are going to take in care of everything, I can able to work. I don't need to worry about all these things, right? So cloud providers, they are going to take in care of everything. You are simply going to use these things. Understood? So in the same way, Edu Data Factory is in a cloud. Informatica, other things are on premise. Okay, Venkat sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem. So let me go to the next slide. So it's a retail domain. In retail domain, only applications will change. See Flipkart, Amazon, Alibaba, right? Snapdeal. So all these are the different applications. So whenever you purchase any item, that data will sit in any of these. And again, you need to move this data into cloud by using ADFC, Data Lake, Blob, and Data Lake Storage Gen to process this data by using Databricks or HD Insight. And once you process this data, you may load data into Azure Synapse, Blob Storage, or Data Lake Storage. Again, you may use Power BI for creating reports. Remember, not only Power BI, you have a lot of tools, Tableau, ClickView. So there are different visualization tools they will use for a report to create the reports. Here also for analytical service, not only Databricks, HD Insight, we have many more. Machine learning you can use, or what else? Azure Data Lake Analytics you can use, and many more you can use. But popular services I am highlighting here. Databricks is the popular here. Okay, and most of the customers, they will put data in Data Lake Storage Gen 1, Data Lake Storage Gen 2, and finally they will load data into Synapse, and we will create the Power BI reports. But if you look at the retail domain, you see all applications will change. Okay, clear? Clear, friends, clear? Give me 5 more minutes. At least we will close real-time use cases. The next, so travel. So if you say RTC, Make My Trip, and Redbus, Thomson Cook, if you want to book any flight, Ease My Trip. So there are a lot of applications. You can use those applications to book a ticket. Once you book that ticket, data will be available here. Again, you use ADF to move data into storage, process the data by using analytical services, then load data into Azure Synapse or some storages. Then you can load the, you can create the Power BI reports. So same, you can consider anything. Okay, here WebSina and Smart Patient. So there are applications where you can enter your patient details. They will give you some suggestions. They will ask you to visit hospital if they think something is critical. Okay, something. See, you'll have a data in their databases. So they are going to maintain their own databases. Again, data will come here, something like this. Whatever we have done, so same flow will be there. Okay, but based on project, they may use Data Lake, Gen 2, or Blob, or database or database. Okay, clear, friends? Till here clear? If you have any question, please let me know now. As of now, everybody is clear.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I think what is Azure Data Factory, we will start tomorrow, because so if we start, you will not be able to understand, because already we crossed 1 hour. Okay, we will see remaining topics tomorrow. Okay, clear? Please let me know, friends, if you have any question. Let me stop the